remaining on the subject of Saudi Arabia, bear with us. Jordan Henderson, of course, no longer with Liverpool, now playing for Steven Gerrard's Al-Ettifaq, but Henderson on England duty. He's been speaking to The Athletic for the first time since he's moved to Saudi Arabia. And on the move, why Saudi? He says, well, people will see this club come with loads of money. And he's just gone, yeah, I'm going. When in reality, he says, that just wasn't the case at all. People can believe me or not, but in my life and my career, money has never been a motivation, ever. Don't get me wrong. When you move, the business deal has to be tight, and money's part of that. But it wasn't the sole reason. So he's ruling that out, Simon. I mean, he even says, and he laughs at figures of 700 grand a week being banded about. He says, no, the numbers are not true. I wish it was, and he laughs at that. I mean, will people accept his reasoning on that part, do you think? Should he be bothered?
Well, I mean, he was the one that people attributed a lot of the noise around his support of certain communities. And I have no issue with his support of certain communities if he wants to follow through with the consequences or the real skin in the game sort of mentality that I've often accused footballers of not having. They parachute into these particular causes. They don't have a lot of understanding behind them. They tell you what they think that you want to hear, and then when they have some consequences as a result of it, they don't like it. I liked the armband in Qatar and then quickly taking it off when they realise they're going to get a yellow card. Unfortunately in life, if you want to support something, sometimes there is a consequence for that, but they don't want it. Now, he suffers from that particular backlash because he was very vociferous. Look, it's ridiculous for him to say in all straight-faced perspective that he hasn't gone to Saudi predominantly for the money. I don't care if he's gone for the money or not, but the bottom line is that's what he's gone there for, in the same way that Phil Mickelson went to pay on the Live Tour for the money and then started to give us this load of old pony about diversity and inclusion and bringing forward a society that was in certain ways not where it needed to be. With all those things in mind, Jordan Henderson cannot get past the inevitable. I mean, I would much prefer him turn around and say one of the driving factors was the money.
Well, he doesn't do that. And of course,
and that's disingenuous. And what people will look at it and go, don't be so bloody stupid. You're an international footballer. You're playing for Liverpool. You're going to a league that has enormous amounts of money attached to it.
Well, he says money's part of it, but it wasn't the sole reason. Is that not good enough?
Well, can we? Okay, then. So, what are the predominant other reasons then?
He wants to grow the league. I'll get to that in a second.
Oh, okay.
On the LGBTQ situation, I mean, he has spoken up for their rights in the past.
He does,
and of course, we know what Saudi's take on that is. He says it was a difficult time, definitely. Don't get me wrong, there can be a lot of criticism, a lot of negativity around me as a person, and that was difficult to take. But I just feel as though, because I do care about different causes that I've been involved in and different communities, I do care. And for people to criticise and say that I turned my back on them really hurt me.
Well, again, I don't dispute the fact that prima facie, veneer deep, I'm sure he does care. But the reality of caring and then suffering a consequence in terms of suggesting that I'm not going to go to particular environments is not what he's prepared to do. I don't blame him for going there for an inordinate amount of money at whatever age he is. Because at the end of the day, that's what footballers are there for, is to enjoy their careers. At this stage in his career, if someone's foolhardy enough to pay him £700,000 a week or whatever he's getting, then that's on them. But let's not dress it up into what it isn't. It's predominantly a money transaction. It's not the same accusation that I made of Kieran Trippier, and I still maintain that if there wasn't a significant amount of money, he wouldn't have gone and signed for Newcastle if Mike Ashley was in control. He went to sign for Newcastle when there was a new ownership model that was ultimately going to kick the club on and give him benefits.
Well, he's asked, look, what persuaded you then? Jordan, what persuaded you? So what's your take on this? So I go somewhere to try something new, to grow the game that I love in another country and grow the league into one of the best in the world. That excites me because I want to grow the sport all over the world. And that got me going, really.
Well, I think that's a very well thought through answer, and chapeau to his PR team. Because when you're preparing yourself for these interviews, knowing what's coming your way, what is your outcome in terms of people are saying, you hypocrite, you made a song and dance about wanting to be supportive of certain communities, and you go to a country that has no support for these communities whatsoever. You're a mercenary. You're only going there for money. So what you develop, if I was in his shoes and the people around him, what is going to be our best answer to this question? Because we're caught in a cleft position.
Yeah, but he himself has verbalised it to the Athletic reporters.
Well, of course, he's been briefed.
Yeah, but the PR team's not sitting on his shoulder.
No, but they briefed him. He's a parrot, I would imagine. He sat there going, right, how do I dress this up into something slightly more meaningful than the real implications behind it? Why have I gone to Saudi? I've had potential opportunity to stay in the English Premier League. I still would have been paying a king's fortune over there. I'm going to Saudi, which has got an average attendance right now of 6,000 fans, in a country that's not the most hospitable to the communities that I purport to support. Let me think how I get myself out of this particular conundrum. I know I'll build up a narrative with those around me that these contributing factors, which in part might form a very small part of the consideration. Let's ask the question, Jordan. Jordan, if you were getting the same dough that you were getting in Liverpool, would you have been equally as motivated to go to these countries to grow the sport? No, he wouldn't.
Is he allowed to take his LGBTQ beliefs with him to Saudi? There's a question. He says, I think people know what my views and values were before I left and still do now. And I think having someone with those views and values in Saudi Arabia is only a positive thing.
Fantastic.
What we want to do now is hear him trot out what he said before about LGBTQ, but say it in Saudi.
I often question the validity of people's purported beliefs when it comes at a cost to them. When there is a cost implication to someone's deep-seated beliefs, then you see the substance and the character of the person when ultimately they're prepared to accept those costs. Well, let's see if Jordan Henderson feels the necessity to lecture those in Saudi Arabia about the Western standards that he feels are not being exhibited in the country where he's taking their money. And we'll see how that plays out. And we'll see if he feels necessity, not that I feel that he should do. I don't think he should have to I don't think he should have to run around in rainbow laces. I don't think he should have to make speeches on behalf of groups that need representation via people like Jordan Henderson. I think he should concentrate on being a bleeding footballer. And the reasons why he's caught himself in a situation where people are saying, excuse me, is because he wanted to make a 4-act play about his beliefs. And
there's an element of diplomacy in the answers here.
Well, of course
he's being diplomatic.
Well, of course he is, because he can't go over there and say, he can't say to the British media, I couldn't give a pony about all this. I've gone over there for a big bag of money, because everyone would go, you hypocrites. He can't then turn around and say that I'm not going to be prepared to say something, because those communities, he's caught in a position that his hypocrisy to some extent, and by the way, a hypocrisy that 95% of people would have been caught in. The only difference is, like Gareth Southgate is now finding himself in a difficult position where he felt the necessity to put himself in front of the media, telling everybody what he thought about
it. You can't argue that he doesn't address the LGBTQ question. He says, my intention was never ever to hurt anyone. My intention has always been to help causes of the community where I felt like they have asked for my help. We can beat our heads in the sand. Nothing's going to change.
So which would you think...
His views haven't changed.
Which would you think are more meaningful, actions or words? Because words are easy, right? So the actions would have been, I don't agree with this society. I'm not going to condone the advancement of it for football. By not going. No, that comes at a cost, Jordan. You see, what's going to happen there, Jordan, is you're going to throw away 15 million quid. Oh, no, I'm going to grow the league, and I'm going to do it as Agent Henderson inside Saudi Arabia by changing the mindset of their belief system, of their belief culture, of their Sharia law, and look at everything, because I'm going to do that, because I want to go over there, and I'll do it for nothing. And I'll do it for the same sort of money as I was getting in England, because that's how committed I am. It's a load of old rubbish.
So we know Jordan Henderson has gone to Saudi Arabia. He's back here now because he's going to play for England and Gareth. But will people accept his reasoning as to why he has gone to Saudi Arabia? And at the end of the day, should he really be bothered by the reaction at all? If you want, give us a call on that. 03717 223344 810 89 half 10.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.